So people, it's Avlen here. Welcome to my channel. I just want to say quickly hello before this bonus episode starts. It's a voiceover to the Colin story. I hope you will like it. So I leave you be to enjoy it. If you like it, share it. If you would like to subscribe my channel, I would appreciate that. And please let me know in the comment if I'm doing something very good or not. So I leave you be. Enjoy the video. Bye! Colin's diary. The winter is over. At least, that's what I wanted to believe. How little I knew. I moved into this house when the spring was full on. The house itself is modern yet cozy. Spacious living room is perfect for relaxing. Little time will pass and my new bedroom will be the same. I had a feeling that I need to develop new sense of organization quickly. Everything is different. A house, a ground under my feet, my face. I'm on my own, with my pocket full of money, nothing to do and nothing to fall back on. As much as this thought scares me, I want to live somehow. There are times when I'm able to carry out simple tasks, and there are mornings with sense of emptiness discouraging me from getting out of bed. When I'm alone, I become bored and unfocused. I know myself well enough to know that. I wish I had a video game to play in real life. The books are full of cold, hard facts and not as much of life experience, although I have learned my lesson. One day I pictured myself among the trees, and here I am. The river runs through the forest, and the birds are out. The air is warm and woodsy. The camping site is large and full of stuff that you can only appreciate with a clear mind. This location is quiet, however I can spot other people who seem so ordinary to me. Fox, as always, is happily greeting them, encouraging me to do the same. For some time I rather prefer nature and my own company. I jog with Silver a lot, mostly for him, but I found it therapeutic as well. There is a unique part of the trail which is in the opposite direction of the road travel. This was the part of the trail that I found most rewarding. This section of forest is better maintained and not overgrown. Once my run has been interrupted by unexpected discovery. I'm writing about it after a while, as instructed by Dr. Gary, and with a calm mindset. I have to get out of my system this picture, these thoughts, like a spooky déjà vu. I saw graves at one of the campsites with a large guest house. Out of nowhere, the view of them paralyzed me. I have lost sense of time, but after a while my hand moved. The leash has been pulled on. Silver gives me a sign that it's time to leave this place. Will I ever allow myself to leave things behind? The truth is in the eye of the beholder. You can't unsee it. You can't hide from it. You can't rationalize away. I am a mess. My dead memory speaks to me. But at this very moment, all I could do was to keep breathing. My eyes were dizzy, my legs, no matter how much I tried, couldn't follow the movements of my head. I don't remember how I get back to the tent. Although I remember one very clear moment when my body just falls out of place and no longer gives me an access to my base senses. My thoughts were all over the place, but that night emotions lulled me to sleep. I awoke the next morning assured that I will start the process of normal life again, my way of searching for a problem to be solved. Days been passing by. I remember once I went fishing. For the first time in a long time I stood barefoot in the water, touching wet sand. This is my reality now, I thought. I took my last small step to get some happiness. The serenity and the feeling of being alive had a deep change on my consciousness. I realized that I had fallen in love with this new way of life. I miss nobody now, and instantly, with a change of heart, I forced myself to see the headstones again. I cannot explain what happened in this very moment, but I've made up my mind. In the daylight, it was suddenly a different place. There was a girl, and as I learned later, her father. Both with a kind look at first sight mistake. There was a sort of mixture of anger and sadness in the air. I have noticed how Stephany looked at her father with cold, hard eyes, just for a few seconds. He seems not to be bothered. I tried to make a small talk, but he looked at me rather coldly. At this point, I was ghastly puzzled and accepted his invitation for dinner. Joe made a theatrical gesture of victory and headed to the kitchen. Seeing this, Stephany followed him. After a while, I did the same. I felt like a fish on the hook. In the kitchen, the discussion continued. He quietly whispered something to her through clenched teeth. Stephany then rolled her eyes at him and opened her mouth to say something, but stopped because she heard my steps behind her. She turned to me and smiled, then left. I've seen this smile many times before, and from this point I knew it all. At the table, they both tried extremely hard to convince me that everything is fine, as if I were a judge deciding about their future. However, I was impressed how much effort they've put into this small project. I had the impression that at the very first time they have played together as a one team. But who was I to judge them? Finally, the dinner was over. I came up with excuses and waited to examine the headstones. Evening was warm. I'm still amazed that I went there again. Dark thoughts overwhelmed me, but I did not panic this time. After a while, from distance, I have heard Stephany playing with Silver, and I followed this path of distraction. I realized I needed their company, and sat down in front of the fire, still with my dark mind. My thoughts kept me company for a while this night. The next day, I wanted to forget about everything. I asked Stephany to come over. This entire day we've been chatting, and she admitted that she was disgusted with Joe, but refused to speak more of fear and discomfort. This evening, Joe called, and as much as I despise disco parties, I went to ancient ruins with him to hear the truth straight from his mouth. He said without a hesitation that Stephany is like an alien to him. I left without a goodbye. In anger, I scolded myself badly. Why do I want to hurt her? I must bring out the thought that every decision I make from now on affects other people I don't even know.